Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for another edition of NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005, and it is the final race for the Truck Series on this game, and then we're going to have our full focus on the Busch Series Custom Schedule Season and the Cup Series Custom Schedule Season on this Sunday night. And going forward, this is the second race of the day, and it's a Daytona double. Of course, we had the Daytona road course earlier today on NASCAR 21 Ignition with the Rolex 24 going on this weekend. Congratulations to Helio Castroneves and that DPI team getting the victory and the overall victory, I should say, of the Rolex 24. I was not able to actually see the end of the race, but I did see the finishing results at least, so congratulations to him. And I will also say that, again, with running the Daytona road course earlier today, we will also run the Daytona road course again tomorrow, with it still being the weekend of the Rolex 24, and that will be taking place on this game for our season opener of the Cup Series Custom Schedule Season. So yes, I know the Daytona 500, not the first race on our season. We actually have two races before the Daytona 500 on that Custom Schedule Season, and that will be in the Community tab tomorrow sometime, or tonight sometime. I'll have the schedule for that entire season. But as far as this season goes, we know that the finale is at Daytona, the Florida Dodge Dealers 250. Earlier this year, well, now it's simple. It's the Daytona 250 for the Truck Series. Already locked up the championship with our driver, your guys' fan-voted driver, Bobby Hamilton Sr. last night with a crazy finish, a last lap pass for the win at Homestead after a restart with just 6 laps to go. So we're locking the championship up yesterday. We'll keep a close eye out on Carl Edwards and Brandon Witt to see who will finish second in points, because they're pretty tightly bunched together right now for second. But I will also say that we're going to make this hard on ourselves. We're going to start dead last. It's only 100 laps. It's only 250 miles, so that's not a lot of time. And we know how spaced apart the pack can get in this era of super speedway racing in NASCAR. Especially when you get into green flag pit stops. We'll be pretty packed together for the first run, but then once we get to those green flag pit stops, if we get there, of course, without a caution, then that can play into the strategy portion of the race. They are wrecking in practice. What just happened there? Did you guys see that? There was like 3 trucks that piled up down the back straightaway. Oh my goodness. The big one in practice, that guy's blowing up. Heavy damage. The heck is going on? Got 2 of them blowing up? Yeah, I got 2 of them blowing up down on the bottom. That was wild. This race may turn into be wild. We had an epic season opener at Daytona to start this Truck Series season, and now we're going to round it out in style. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream. Chiefs and Bengals go to overtime. I've watched a lot of the second half of that game, but unfortunately I will miss it, but that's okay. We'll have a lot of racing content here for your Sunday night. The Daytona double. And Bobby Hamilton, right off the start, he's bump drafted as many trucks as he can as he tries to get up to speed. He gets around one race truck. He's trying to push Jack Baker. Got to be careful, and he did not hit him square at all into the left rear quarter panel on Baker, and that is going to completely stall this Ford truck of Bobby Hamilton out. That was not a wise move by Bobby Hamilton. Way too aggressive of a start in turns 1 and 2. Ace Johnson, who qualified on the pole, is in the lead heading into turns 3 and 4. Now it's Bill Lester and the 22 truck who leads off the exit of turn 4. And will the field be able to make it off the exit of turn 4 this time? They do. 2 and 3 wide all the way through the pack. A little bit of contact getting into the tri-oval as they're stacking up. Big time. Hamilton, oh, he gets into the back of another race truck. I believe it was John Wood. Something happened. He tried to gut it through there full throttle. That did not work at all. Another truck down on the apron, which I believe is Ryan Carter in the 64. Hopefully there's not too much damage on the front of the Ford truck of Bobby Hamilton. Lester was able to lead the opening lap. But a bunch of commotion at the back of the pack right now, and I said it was going to be pretty tightly bunched together for the start of the race. Well, that is the case through most of the field, but the back of the field is really spaced apart. We nearly had an accident turn 1, lap 1, and we nearly had an accident in the tri-oval on lap 1. Bill Lester out in front. He led the most laps at Daytona in the first race earlier this season, but did not get the victory. Looking for his 4th win of the year here tonight. Sorry, second win of the season here tonight. We've had 5 different winners so far this year. Bobby Hamilton trying to go for win number 15. It's a good thing he has already locked this championship up, because this is what we worried about at Daytona coming into the night. And he's all by himself with no drafting help right now, so there's not really anything he can do. Got a long ways to go. I'd imagine this race will not go caution-free, but you have to play it as if it may go caution-free. So as soon as that window opens to the end of the race, if you're Bobby Hamilton, I think you have to pit. Without a doubt. That was probably not a wise decision to try and gun it through the middle 3 wide. Nearly 4 wide when that pack started making contact there towards the back and they stacked up in the tri-oval. The aggressiveness there for Bobby Hamilton really costed him. He's already 8.3 seconds off the race lead. He does have one truck who's pulling up closer to him off the exit of turn 2. I believe it was Ryan Carter in the 64. We'll have to wait and see. Hamilton's definitely going to let him go by the time they make it into turn 3 so he can draft behind him. First race at Daytona earlier this year, it did seem like Bobby Hamilton was a better push truck than a pulled truck in front, so he's going to try to tandem with Ryan Carter. He's going to have to pick him up in the draft pretty quickly. It may be hard to pick him up initially in the draft because he doesn't have any help behind him, but it does look like he'll pick him up in the tri-oval as he gets up to speed. So Ryan Carter, Bobby Hamilton will be drafting partners. It's unfortunate because Chad Chafin started towards the back of the pack as well, but Hamilton was not able to link up with his teammate. His teammate pulled away from him. So if he does catch Chafin at all in this race, obviously he would like to work with him. Chafin has not won yet this season. There are a lot of drivers here that have not won yet this year that have a great shot with it being Daytona. Anything could happen. Got slow truck entering into turns 1 and 2 with a blown engine, it looks like, trying to lip his way back around to the pit lane, and as long as he can do that, we'll continue to stay green. Looks like there's another potential stack up in the tri-oval again on this lap. That slow truck is still on the back straightaway, not even halfway down the back straightaway, as Bill Lester will catch him as well as the rest of the leaders. Roaring by at 190 plus miles an hour. Big run to the inside goes Bobby Hamilton down the back straightaway. Trying to get a quick little side draft perhaps, a little bump draft now to the back of the 152. That was Hank Grigsby in the 153 truck, by the way, down on the bottom of the track. Trying to stay out of the way. Hamilton nearly drilled him. But he makes the pass on Carter to move back to 30th, and now Carter's in the wall off the exit of turn 4. So Hamilton's been aggressive with the bump drafting so far tonight. Bob Spear, Bobby Hamilton drafting together now after Ryan Carter couldn't really get anything going there. Big source of speed coming. Hamilton will move to the inside of Bob Spear. It looks like there's about 5 or 6 trucks running 3x3 up ahead, but I think Hamilton moved ahead of Spear a little too quick. May have to let him get back around. And Hamilton not a good pull truck. Talk about a tough last to first challenge. The way things started off on that opening lap, not clean by any means for Bobby Hamilton, which is not what he needed. He did not need the pack to split apart this quickly. No practice coming into this race as well as the qualifying. Setup is where we left off with it. And Hamilton finished 18th at Daytona earlier this season. Well, he's trying to pull Ryan Carter and Bob Spear into the back of this pack up here, and it actually looks like they're making up a little bit of ground. Believe it or not. These 3 trucks staying single file. These laps are clicking by quick considering, again, that this is a Truck Series race. Half the length of the Daytona 500 in a couple of weeks for the Cup Series on this game. He doesn't like a little Daytona doubleheader like we've had today. All did not go well in that first race of the doubleheader with my favorite driver, Ryan Blaney, in that earlier race. But here comes Bobby Hamilton with a run into turns 1 and 2. Making it past on one race truck. In turns 3 and 4. This massive run will be taken down to the inside with the 135 truck. A little push in the tri-oval. Again, Hamilton being aggressive in the bump drafting so far. Definitely gonna have to be careful of that going forward. He's gonna take it 3 wide now into turns 1 and 2. Risky move. Doesn't have a lot of drafting help behind him anymore. Ryan Carter trying to get closer to the 4. They're no longer 3 wide, but they are 2 by 2 down the back stretch with the group Hamilton's with. And he will pull clear and try to lead this now 5 truck group to another 4 to 5 truck group up ahead. It's not going to be easy, though, if trucks keep getting alongside of him, like that truck to the outside of Bobby Hamilton off the exit of turn 4 there. Bummer the crew. Yeah, I know. It really is. I'm upset about it for multiple reasons. Not giving you guys the finish of the career mode. I'm one for starting things and wanting to at least finish them. Even if I take a break, I come back to it. And so to not finish that after getting almost a full season in is unfortunate, but it was out of my hands at the same time too. So it's not something that I should be hanging my head on. Hamilton's pulling the trucks behind him. That's actually a little problematic because he's not quite close enough to draft off the trucks in front of him. Really needs those guys to get side by side with each other so they could start side drafting. Well, a little contact into turn 3 will help. That was the contact that Bobby Hamilton needed. And he'll take the run to the outside of Benny Allen now. Hamilton with a pass on the outside at Daytona. That worked out well for him. Now down to the bottom on the back straightaway. Huge head of steam, 192 miles an hour. And into turn 3, up to 23rd. And he's got his teammate, Chad Chafin, in front of him. And if Hamilton can link up with his teammate Chafin, that would be the ideal situation that he would have wanted. Took him 12 laps to get linked up with him. But those two Bobby Hamilton racing trucks are going to try to work their way to the front. Chafin to the outside. Hamilton going to go with him. Wesley Schmidt in the 117 truck is in front of Chafin. Contact down the backstretch with some trucks heading into turn 3. Chafin worked his way to the bottom to get around Schmidt. Again, Hamilton going to follow the 18. He's going to go wherever Chafin goes as they try to work their way to the front. Bill Lester still led every lap so far through the first 13 now at the line. It's got to be the favorite the way he ran at Daytona earlier this season. We had 3 cautions in the final 30 laps of the race that dictated the finish, even though Lester had dominated and led over half the race to start. They're 3 wide out in front. Patrick Shadley, welcome into the stream. Chafin's got a pretty big run off the exit of turn 2. He's pulling the 4 truck just a bit, but now the 4 truck will rear his way back, and he's actually going to try to abandon his teammate, Chad Chafin. A little tight squeeze there, but he's able to get around him. They were double wide out in front of Hamilton, so he just chose the quickest way to get through this pack, and if he has to abandon his teammate, I guess he will. So much for working together. It's unbelievable, though, the speed in this race truck. I don't think Hamilton was this fast at Daytona earlier this season. It's actually quite shocking to me that even Hamilton's got this much speed in the race truck. Drafting with Doug Thompson. Hamilton's already past half the field. He's up to 17th. in just 15 laps. But he's still 7 seconds off the lead, though. That's the issue. He's only really cut about a 1.3 second deficit. Or cut the deficit down 1.3 seconds, I should say. SG Fulton 83, welcome to the stream. I am 22. Rocking the Mankind shirt. Oh, 3 wide, potentially in front of Hamilton as he's trying to bump draft Doug Thompson, trying to get Thompson underneath. Oh, and he tags him on the right rear. Contact into turn 3. That's going to cost Hamilton some time. He did not need that. Too aggressive. I don't think Thompson wanted to go 3 wide, and he was lifting every time Hamilton was pushing him. Hamilton up to 16th now, but he is in a world of his own. No help in front of him and no help behind him. That was probably the last thing that could have happened for Bobby Hamilton's sake. No, but yeah, I've actually seen Mick Foley in person before at a local indie show in Toledo once. Probably about like 4 years ago. And then on top of that, the very first match I ever watched, it wasn't live, but it was on a wrestling CD, or at least the first match I can remember watching was Cactus Jack versus Triple H at the Royal Rumble in 2000, a street fight. So I've definitely been a fan of Mick Foley or Cactus Jack. But Triple H is my all-time favorite. A lot of the reason was because of that match, but as I grow a little bit older, I have a little bit more appreciation for him, taste of music and other stuff outside of the world of wrestling. The physique, in my opinion. Well, maybe not the best physique of all time, but one of the best. For my childhood, at least. I think I should say the physique mixed with the actual, you know, persona of the game itself, I feel like just kind of went hand in hand well together. Cincinnati won. Wow, that's crazy. I think people expected the Bengals, you know, to have a pretty good team this year. But who would have expected them to go to the Super Bowl and beat Kansas City twice in one season, nonetheless? Twice in like 4 weeks. So Scott Bush and Bobby Hamilton working together. Bush worked his way pretty quickly around Hamilton. Hamilton let him go so he could try to draft behind him because he was losing the trucks in front. Bush has been wanting to run the outside. A little bump draft from Hamilton to the back of Bush. 3 strikes and Hamilton's going to be out if he makes a bad bump draft. He did it bad on the opening lap when they were trying to get up to speed. He did it bad a couple laps ago. That broke the pack up even more. And now, if he does it again, I don't think he's going to luck out the 3rd time. Still caution free. 20 laps in already at Daytona under the lights. In our road to Daytona. Just 21 days away from the 500 and only 7 days away from our live commentary of the Busch Clash next week. Remember Cactus Jack and WCW? Yeah, I never... WCW was done before I can remember. I want to say I probably started... Whatever year Zach Gowen was in WWE, that was the last I could, like, vividly remember, like, actually watching on a somewhat weekly basis when I was a kid. Because I remember that whole storyline from when I was a kid. Because I didn't know it was a prosthetic leg. I thought the Big Show actually ripped his leg off. So as a kid, I was kind of freaked out about it. But that was like the earliest storyline I could remember of actually watching it on TV. But one of the first matches I could vividly remember watching was specifically on that, like, Attitude Era greatest matches list. That was whatever CD I had, whatever volume I ended up having or whatever. That was the first match on it. I remember that for that reason, it was my favorite for the longest time. I don't know what my favorite match is of all time necessarily, but that's definitely got to rank up there in the top 5. A little 3-wide pass going into turn 1 for Bobby Hamilton. He may have made the move a little too soon. He's just close enough to draft off of Jake Bradley, but does he have enough to catch him? And I think he does. I think he had barely enough draft to catch Jake Bradley. So he timed that 3-wide pass out perfectly. Thought for a moment it might have been a little too early, but I guess it was not. Hamilton's up to 14th. He's back to 8.4 seconds off the lead, which is about as far back as he has been interval-wise from race leader Bill Lester today. But again, all it takes is one caution to bunch the field right back up again. And for the sake of Bobby Hamilton, that's exactly what he would want, as long as, of course, that he's not involved. Holmes threw another pick. Man. I did get my SmackDown vs. Raw 07 in the mail like right before I went live, so I will be playing that tonight for sure. Be drafting my GM mode roster. Sad Sharks, welcome to the stream. Yep, Daytona for the second time today. This time on the high banks of the oval rather than the road course. And it's a bumpy Daytona, of course, with this old surface back in 2004. We'll be seeing this throughout the classic game playthroughs a lot, considering it wasn't repaved until 2011. Or for the start of the 2011 season, at least. Bradley's not really quick enough that Hamilton's gaining a whole lot of time, maybe a tenth of a second quicker each of the last 2 laps were Bradley and Hamilton compared to race leader Bill Lester, who's pretty much by himself. Oh, Bradley tried to block Hamilton, who had a run. That stalled Hamilton out. He'll make the pass for 13th, but unfortunately, what looked like he was going to be close enough behind Barry Wilder to try and draft off of him, now he's not. Because Bradley made the bad block. So now Hamilton will go to the outside at 3 and 4. He'll let Bradley back underneath him again. And again, he'll try to cling on to the draft of Bradley. Ethan, welcome to the stream. Yeah, Billy mentioned that the Chiefs lost. This whole NFL season's been shocking, so I guess the Bengals to make the Super Bowl is kind of fitting for how the season's gone. I mean, the Chiefs, the way they started that game off, they looked unstoppable. I mean, they looked like how they ended against the Bills the week before, but then in the second half, they looked almost like they did the first half of the year, which was just sloppy and inconsistent. So it was honestly a tale of the Chiefs' season in this game alone, just how they played. Showed that they could be the best team in the league, but also showed that at one point this year they were pretty mediocre, and they turned it around quick, but they lost it in a hurry in the second half today. Bump draft to the back of Bradley again. Bradley just moves out of the way. He's going to let Hamilton go, realizing that Hamilton wants to get going now. Bradley's kind of trying to take the safe route with things. But Hamilton was not able to clear Bradley, unfortunately, and Bradley will get the pole now off of Barry Wilder on the outside. Oh, and Hamilton again clips the left rear. He was trying to hold up in line behind Bradley, and instead he clipped the left rear corner panel of the 86 truck. And with that mistake now, Bobby Hamilton is right back to square one with no drafting help. And 8.8 seconds off the race lead. I can remember the Daytona USA game. I've seen those before. I know it's older, but I have seen those arcade games before. I've probably played it a few times. There was a local, well, not a local bar. I don't know exactly what bar it was, but I can remember my dad was in a bowling league, and there was a Daytona USA racing game in there, and I went with him because I knew that arcade was there, and I spent, like, all day on that arcade game. He was just feeding me quarters all day while I was waiting for his bowling league to end. Yeah, Helio won the 24 hours, Rolex 24 hour at Daytona. It's now about a 5-truck group sitting in line behind Bobby Hamilton. And one of them is his teammate, Chad Chafin. That would ideally be the driver Hamilton wants to work with. Just over 10 seconds off the lead, but he's going to need somebody to get around him quick. He's going to go to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to hold up the inside. There's more trucks on the top. He's purposely giving up that outside lane to see if Chafin will make the pass on him. And here comes Chafin. He's got Brandon Witt behind him. Witt trying to get to second in the point standings. He's got some catching up to do if he's going to be able to do it. Pit window will open up in about 10 laps, but because Hamilton is 10 seconds off the lead, he's scared if he pits now that he may not be able to cycle back on the lead lap. I think he could if he takes fuel only or potentially no tires, or right sides only. I don't know. It's very, very interesting circumstance here. Risky pace starting at the back at Daytona. Any racetrack, actually. Even super speedways. I'd say more so at super speedways in this day and age where track position means a lot more. Chafin keeps getting to the outside of Bobby Hamilton. They're only slowing each other up, running side by side, though, unfortunately. Chafin gets a better run that time through turns 3 and 4. But Hamilton could not slide up in front of Brandon Witt or Scott Bush. Chafin pulling down to the bottom a little bit. Hamilton's going to get some help now. And the Bobby Hamilton Racing teammates are going to work together for the second time tonight. And they're going to try to attack this field. Worked with each other off and on now, but they are up to 13th and 14th on the grid. With 69 laps to go in the Daytona 250. Started watching 2001, your favorite driver was Tony Stewart. Man, he had a championship the next season right after. Didn't have to wait long. I'm still waiting for my driver to win his first championship. Never got to see Biffle win one, and then Ryan Blaney's. I mean, he's showing promise. Biffle competed for titles, but he's never got it done. .6 seconds off the lead is Chafin and Hamilton. Chafin finally goes a little bit closer to the bottom, kind of running that middle lane through turns 1 and 2 at least. With this bumpier Daytona surface, I just don't see how Bobby Hamilton would be able to find a way to be able to make it on all 4 tires to the end of the race. Tires really do matter at this Daytona surface compared to nowadays. Dad's favorite was Ernie Irvan. Well, Carl Edwards just took the lead, and that's the first lap. Bill Lester has not led all night long. So Edwards has stayed with him, and I guess the 99 and the 22 have been drafting partners then, pretty much from the get-go. As Edwards tries to get that second place points finish, Brandon Witt's going to have to beat him by a few positions to be able to have a chance at it. And right now, Witt's back in 16th, while Edwards leads. 5 bonus points for Edwards as well. How many drivers have won 15 races in a season? And nobody has ever done it in the Truck Series. In fact, nobody's even won double digits in a Truck Series season until Bobby Hamilton did it on this custom schedule season. So just adding on to the total, proving why this has been an absolutely stunning championship year. 2.8 is the average finish for Bobby Hamilton this season. Yet he still only clinched the championship one race early, because that's how consistent and strong Carl Edwards was, and even Brandon Witt this year as well. And far and away, those three drivers were the favorites all season. And Bobby Hamilton led in the point standings from race 4 all the way through race 23. The final 20 races of the year, Hamilton led in points. Once he got that first points lead of the year, he never looked back. No DNFs this season coming into this race tonight, and only 2 finishes outside the top 10 at Daytona and Texas. On the Daytona Oval, I have won my last 2 races. If you count the Busch Series race on our custom schedule season here on NASCAR 05, and then on NASCAR 21 Ignition just 2 nights ago, winning the Daytona 500 on the final season there. So I've won the last 2 Daytona Oval races. Can we win with Bobby Hamilton tonight, making it 3 in a row? What a streak that would be going into the Daytona 500 on NASCAR 05 next weekend. Should say in a couple weekends, sorry. Chafin and Hamilton are really not closing in a whole lot on Lester and Edwards. Again, though, we did see 3 cautions at Daytona earlier this year, and they were all in the final 30 laps of the race. And in the Busch Series custom schedule race here, we had a green-white checker 1-lap, green-white checker finish. We'd have at least 2 laps of that happen here because there is a guaranteed restart in the Truck Series versus the Busch Series. There is not. Hamilton going to get by his teammate Chafin. Try to get to potentially faster race trucks in front of him. Barry Wilder and Andy Lyman. Running right in front of Bobby Hamilton. Hamilton trying to draft with Wilder. Wilder not able to get to the inside of Lyman into the tri-oval. Little bump draft to the back of Wilder. Down to the bottom, though. Wilder went high. Hamilton didn't want to go with him. Chafin's still sticking with the back bumper of Hamilton. Will follow him by Wilder as well. And now it's Andy Lyman in the 164 truck who leads in front of Hamilton in 11th. Hamilton knocking on the doorstep of getting in the top 10 for the first time tonight. C. Hogan 10, welcome to the stream. Added Bobby Labonte in NASCAR 21 Ignition. I think they did with the throwback patch, right? Or the throwback DLC. I keep saying patch. They had a patch to fix the DLC, but it ended our career mode, so I don't think it was worth it. For my sake, it was not worth it. But I had to update it. To get future updates, I was going to have to incorporate that one. At some point, I was going to have to update it. And unfortunately, it bit us. Hamilton to the inside of Lyman. I don't think he timed the run out well enough, but he'll have a little bit of drafting help behind. Chad Chafin was on the inside lane behind him, and Chafin pulling closer to the back bumper now of the 4. Hamilton may be close enough to stick with Troy Perry in the 116. It's tough to tell for sure. 60 laps to go in the Daytona 250. All 4 tires wearing out here on Bobby Hamilton. He is definitely not going to be able to go this whole race on any of those tires, so he will have to change them. Chafin got stuck on the outside after Lyman crossed him over, allowing Hamilton to pull closer to the back of Troy Perry now, and they draft in tandem together. Robbie, welcome to the stream. Days of Thunder in theater. I can't say I've seen it in theater, but I have seen that movie a couple times. Chafin again gonna double cross Andy Lyman into the tri-oval back down to the bottom. Trying to get back to his teammate Bobby Hamilton. Just kind of left and abandoned him. Hamilton working with Perry. He's actually making up decent time with Troy Perry as well. Perry is in 10th. And the more trucks that Hamilton can work with further up through the field as he catches them, as they start to space out a little bit more, obviously the faster they're going to be, and that's going to potentially help Hamilton as well. But it is cool to see both Chafin and Hamilton from the back of the field still working their way to the front. They're working together, and then they kind of separate, and then they work together again. I don't think they're done working together tonight. We still have just over half of the race remaining. I'm playing this on a PS2. It would be well worth running a career mode in this game. It's in your best interest. Far better than NASCAR 21 Ignition's career mode. Don't have to worry about the game resetting on you either. Don't have to worry about any patch updates. Ooh, Perry tried to throw a block on Hamilton at the last second. As Hamilton pulled out to try and make his move. And I think he made it a little too early. Perry's going to hang on in front of Bobby Hamilton, and now he'll throw a block down the back straightaway as well. Hamilton will stick with Perry. Casey Cook in the 177 truck is in 9th place. He won the season opener at Daytona. Still his only win on the season up to this point. And we have a truck pitting inside the top 10. And it's Travis Quaffle, I believe. Quaffle or Sprague. It was tough to tell if it was yellow or a red truck. But regardless of the fact, one of the top 10 just hit the pit lane. So the pit window is open to the end of the race for anybody who wants to pit now. But boy, if you could stay on the lead lap and then catch a caution, that will get you the lead, but you'll be on older tires. It may be the best move. But if you go a lap down, it's not going to be worth it at all. These guys being 10 seconds off the lead, I just don't see them being able to make a 4-tire stop and stay on the lead lap. And Hamilton knows he is going to have to take 4 tires. Because there's no way those tires are going to be able to hold up to the end of the race. We've seen caution in the middle of green flag pit stops multiple times this season. So I would not be surprised if that happened here as well. Perry and Cook trying to pull away from Hamilton. Down the back straightaway, Hamilton trying to build up a bit of a run. He's got a massive run coming into turn 3. Looks to the inside. A little bump draft to the back of Perry, who also pushes Cook. Heard of a 2-car tandem. This is a 3-car or 3-truck tandem. Big run that Perry couldn't block that time. Into turn 1. Hamilton will gain a spot. He's up to 9th. He would have been 11th when the pit stop started out of technicality. But all those trucks that just pit went a lap down. 9.8 seconds off the lead for Hamilton as Edwards and Lester are still on the track and have not pitted yet. But you have the Daytona winner from earlier this season and our series champion working together. I'd say it's a pretty good tag team. Big time bump draft. Down the backstretch, Hamilton being aggressive with the push to the back of Casey Cook. What is up? I have banned that bot like twice now. And they're back again. Why? How does that happen? There's a lot of things that go wrong with this channel, and it seems to be on a frequent basis. There are things I just cannot explain. It's like the third bot already tonight, too. Do we even have a single bot in the chat earlier today? Maybe one. I don't even remember one. We'll be halfway home this time by. We are currently at lap 50 of 100. And I think we will get a caution eventually. At least one. And it may start to breed into other cautions. $50 to go. Oh, man, Cook got sideways in the tri-oval. Hamilton got to try to get out of the gas and let Casey Cook go. Evasive maneuver for Hamilton to try to get to the inside. It's going to stall these guys' run out. Whatever ground they were gaining, they're going to lose, and Hamilton will have to try to drop back in line down the back straightaway. More of the top 10 coming into pit this time, splitting the race in half. Not a bad strategy. Hamilton's already got the championship, so he doesn't really care about how many laps he leads in this one. He's just looking for the win. 1/8 of a tank of fuel left. Oh, Cook pulling to the bottom. I think he's going to pit this time. And Hamilton just drove right around him on the outside. And he's clear in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Hamilton's inside the top 5 for the first time tonight. Carl Edwards is in the pit lane. Bill Lester will stay out. And there goes Cook into the pit, so Hamilton has now lost his drafting partner. Still no cautions. I'm honestly perplexed, to say the least, as far as if it's better to have a caution come out before we pit or after we pit. You would think before, considering how many drivers are going a lap down, but at the same time, we are losing a lot of time with no drafting help right now, and that is a big risk to just get a caution within the next 6 to 7 laps before Hamilton has to hit pit road. Sounds like Bill Lester will be pitting this time by. He's only 8 seconds ahead of Bobby Hamilton right now. There is a truck behind Hamilton that's closing in. Lester in the pit, so is second place. Bobby Hamilton will take his first lead of the night. Mentioned the bonus points don't really mean anything for him, but he has led his first lap now. 5 bonus points for Bobby Hamilton. Troy Perry to the outside. That's who Hamilton was working with right before the pit stops. Him and Casey Cook. So Hamilton will drop in line behind him. This will help save a little bit more fuel. And Troy Perry's actually the last truck, I believe, on the lead lap. In second, but he'll draft with him to try and keep up as much time as possible. And he'll be able to run maybe 2 more laps at the most. I don't think Hamilton's going to want to push it beyond that. Even if it does do wonders, Billy, do not buy the game. Don't cave in. Doug Thompson getting up to speed down the back straightaway. Down to the bottom, excuse me. Oh, sorry, Troy Perry hasn't pit yet. I didn't realize that he is the leader, so he's not in second. I was wondering why I saw his driver number up on the leaderboard. So Perry will pit this time. Hamilton will pit with him, so he has a drafting partner. Can't speed. 70 miles an hour is a speed limit. And he beats Perry into the pits. It'll be 4 tires and fuel for Bobby Hamilton. It'll repair a little bit of damage and no adjustments to the race truck. Pound of air pressure, that's it. That's the only adjustments. So a pound of air pressure going in to maybe help free the car up just a tad for the second half of this race. But the lone and only pit stop of the race for Bobby Hamilton is right now, so this is the money stop. My goodness, I don't know. These bots are relentless. Oh no, that's going to cost Hamilton some time in the pits. The pit stop itself wasn't slow, but the exit of the pit lane was, as Wesley Schmidt pulled into his box as Hamilton was trying to pull out. They didn't make contact, but Hamilton had to check up. And that's going to cost him a lot of time because he is making his way out of the pits a lot slower. What a bummer for Bobby Hamilton. And he's going to have to slide up now. So he has some trucks to work with. He's back to 13th. So Hamilton officially lost 2 spots in the middle of green flag stops. He should be out in front of Perry. And instead, look at how many seconds behind him he is already. Well, I mentioned we were going to need a caution at some point to get back into this race eventually. And that's only becoming more and more true as the race wears on. Everybody has made their lone pit stop of the race, and now we're in a situation where if it stays green to the end, Hamilton's got 0 shot at the win. Well, if we do get a caution, what lap do you guys think it's going to be? And being back at 13th, Hamilton's going to need a caution as soon as possible, really, so he can try to gain those spots as quickly as possible. He's going to try to let Andy Lyman go on the inside, give up a position. And oh man, almost got into his teammate, Chad Chafin. That was a close one. Chafin! Oh, he nearly takes out the Ford truck. Hamilton saves it, but he had to clap the wall as well. Well, that did not work out at all. Hamilton threw nearly threw a block, at least on Chad Chafin, and Chafin got into his left rear. Just looked like he got tight off the exit of turn 4. And a lot of momentum lost. Great save by both trucks, but they slowed each other down a ton. Barry Waller had to check up as well. And more trucks from behind are starting to close in. I'd say the fault was definitely on Chafin there, but I don't think it was with intent considering their teammates. I think he just got tight. And the worst possible spot, right off the exit of the corner when the trucks are trying to work their way maybe a little closer to the wall with the momentum. Top 45,000. Celebrate it. Oh, geez. Andrew Soto, welcome to the stream. That was my fault. I was looking at the chat in the middle of the corner. Another big save by Hamilton, and now the lack of focus is really playing in because it looks like Hamilton's potentially going to lose Chafin as a drafting partner. 40 to go at Daytona. Carl Edwards continues to lead as he cycled to the front, even ahead of Bill Lester. And now Hamilton's going to have to let Doug Thompson go on the outside, it looks like. Weiler going to go with Hamilton. That allowed for Thompson not to make the pass. So Hamilton back to 15th. He'll give up another spot back to 16th. Well, he scraped the wall off turn 4. He's going to lose another spot now to Doug Thompson. Nothing is going right since the pit stop for Bobby Hamilton. And he's only going backwards. He's going to try to cross Thompson over at least as he drafts behind Wilder on the inside. And he's back to 16. Well, Hamilton just wondering who's going to want to be the caution. Who will be the driver to make a mistake? Or maybe even a potential big one that takes some trucks out in front of Hamilton. Far enough out of the way, he should miss whatever could happen. .3 seconds off the lead. He's definitely not making that up. It's nearly a half a racetrack. The lap times that have been ran today and the 47-second lap barrier. 9 likes on the stream right now. We've had as many as 13 people watching on the second race of our doubleheader, or Sunday night Daytona doubleheader edition on the channel. We ran the road course earlier today with the Rolex 24 going on this weekend. We got this race here. Tomorrow night's live stream starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 as well. The start of our Cup Series custom schedule season at the Daytona road course once again in light of the Rolex 24 taking place this weekend at Daytona. So that will kickstart our custom schedule season on that side of things and should be a good one. Not the same layout that we were on earlier today. Kind of it is a fantasy track in the aspect that it's not the actual Daytona road course. But it is a Daytona road course nonetheless. But the only thing similar to it is the fact that you race on the tri-oval and the fact that turn 1's almost identical, and that's about it. Chafin has caught a drafting partner as well. As many spots as Hamilton could gain before potential caution, the better. Obviously, that's the further up in the running order he would restart. Andy Lyman and Chafin. Chafin working his way around Lyman and kind of pulling him now. Chafin to the bottom, trying to side draft Wilder. Up to the 15th place position once again. At least Hamilton was able to get one lap led tonight. Just for the sake of saying he led a lap. Because again, the bonus points don't matter. He's already locked up the championship. The Lyman and Chafin seem to be pulling back away from Bobby Hamilton. See if Hamilton can run him down into turns 1 and 2. I think he made the move on Wilder just a bit too early, so he'll go back to the outside. And let Wilder underneath him off the exit of turn 2. With a run, and Hamilton will then pull in line behind Wilder in turns 3 and 4. And he'll draft behind him. There's no way of all tracks Daytona is going to go caution-free, right? We had two big ones in the Busch race here. One of them early, one of them late. We had the big one on the final lap, but we had 3 cautions prior to that big one in the first Daytona race for this Truck Series season. Same length, 100 laps, 250 miles. Same time of day and the night, time skies. Well, Hamilton's definitely close enough to Lyman that he can pull out a line and make a pass on Wilder if he wants to. But Wilder's going to go to the bottom to try and block the run that Hamilton had. And Wilder instead will get to the inside of Lyman. I guess that'll work too. Hamilton will just end up going with Wilder. That will work. Hamilton back inside the top 15. As long as he clears Lyman, he has not cleared him. Oh, Edwards has blown an engine. The race leader is out. Oh, big block by Hamilton. Barely, and I mean barely clear. Not championship implications. That's only the second time all season Edwards has blown an engine. It'll be only his 4th finish outside the top 10 this season. And that will give Brandon Witt 2nd place in points, as long as Witt can just make it to the end of the race. Carl Edwards will have to fall all the way back to a 3rd place points finish now, after nearly having a shot to win the championship today. That's a tough end of the season for Edwards to have 2 DNFs in the final 6 races. 3 of his 4 finishes outside the top 10 all season came in the final 6 races, including the last 2. Both in the state of Florida, of course. So now Bill Lester's back in the lead again. Well, at least we had some drama in this race. Late, at least. 31 to go. And that was another position, moving Hamilton up to 14th, of course, as well. Hamilton may be able to work with his teammate Chafin once again. He's going to make the move into the tri-oval. Making the pass on Wilder for 13th. He is close enough to get into the draft now of Chad Chafin. Less than 19 seconds off the lead. So now it's Chafin and Hamilton that work together again. Probably a good 4th or 5th different time already in this race. And 71 laps that they will work together. 29 to go at the line for Bill Lester. Hamilton was over 23 seconds off the lead. Obviously, race leader Carl Edwards blew an engine. That was a lot of the seconds that were picked up, but overall, he still gained about 5 seconds since the pit stops 11 laps ago. I mean, at that pace, he would catch the leaders, but also, again, because Edwards blew an engine, he'd probably need Lester to blow an engine next. I think there is a chance that Hamilton could catch that big pack, though. Not sure how many lead lap cars in there. There might be some lap cars mixed in as well. Tough to tell for sure. It's got to be a record for the amount of bots we've had in a stream tonight. 5, I think, maybe more. We did have a late caution at Homestead when I didn't think we were going to get one last night. Setting up a restart with 6 to go. Again, the sooner the better for Hamilton considering he's in 13th. At Homestead, he restarted 2nd and it took till the final lap to get to the lead. From 13th on the restart, it may take longer than 6 laps. Daytona road course started well. We won stage 1 with Ryan Blaney. Stage 2 was won by Kurt Busch. Came from a lap down to at least finish 18th. And then I had 2 penalties in the final stage before eventually running out of gas. So, ran out of gas and finished last, all things considered. So, definitely started off promising. Qualified on the pole as well, so definitely started off really well. One mistake, minor mistake, snowballed into another minor mistake, and the penalties from the hands of the game are just way too harsh. Penalizes you a lap for missing the bus stop, cutting the bus stop just a little bit. I cut it through the grass twice, got penalized a lap both times. Inexcusable. You guys know that I would have done a stop and go penalty just like they would in real life, and like I've done before. If I ever blow a corner on a road course or miss a chicane, that's what I always do, you know, or if I had to give up a couple seconds, you know, or something of that nature, or give up the position if I gained a spot out of it, which I didn't gain a spot out of it either time. Hopefully he could stay for this one. 24 laps to go. Will we see a late yellow for the 2nd straight race towards the end of the season? Precautions on the final 30 laps at Daytona earlier this year, but we're down to 24 to go now. We still haven't seen one yet. This could potentially go caution-free. Troy Perry's the next lap truck up ahead of both Chafin and Hamilton. These two are definitely getting closer to Perry. Pretty big run into the tri-oval for Hamilton. He'll try to get underneath his teammate. Chad Chafin will make the clean pass. Oh, he didn't want to get around Perry either. He had a big run. He's underneath Perry. He tried to lift to let Perry go. And Chafin didn't go with his teammate. He ended up going with Perry instead. Chafin looking low, potentially, on Perry. As he works to the inside, Hamilton will go with him. Well, I guess these two are going to work together anyway. Hamilton almost hung him out. And was going to hang him out. Ooh, Chafin pulled up clear, though, of Perry before Hamilton had a shot to make the pass. Now Hamilton gets to the inside of Perry. Into turn 1, up to 12th. So the Bobby Hamilton Racing trucks working together still. 22 to go. Again, they will fight to the very end. Knowing that they can't catch the leaders. But they can catch more trucks. And who knows, maybe they get up to 7th, 6th, and 7th. Caution comes out. That's a much better position than restarting 11th and 12th. Especially when it's single file restarts. Especially consider the fact that if we do have a caution with more than 10 laps to go, that we'll have the lap trucks to the inside of the lead lap trucks. Restart with less than 10 to go. And the lap trucks will have to restart behind all the lead lap trucks. So there may not really be that many trucks a lap down to begin with. If any at all. Maybe some, but I don't think there's many. "20 laps to go for Bill Lester." Tell you what, if we are going to see a caution, I think it's going to be in that pack towards the back. Look at how bunched together they are. Heading into the tri-oval right now. Working their way down into turns 1 and 2. Bill Lester working his way closer to them. Maybe that slows Lester down a bit, but I don't think it's going to slow him down 18 seconds worth. Hamilton's at the pace now where he's going to have to gain almost a second a lap, and he's not that fast. Yeah, just imagine if the Chiefs would have kicked that field goal at the end of the first half instead of trying to risk it running another play going for a touchdown. They would have won the game and they wouldn't have even had overtime. It just changes the whole dynamic. That's why it's four-quarter football. I feel like coaches think that they could kind of get away with particular play calling earlier in the game, thinking they have plenty more time left in the game to get that play calling back if there is a mistake, and that's just not the case. I mean, you're just putting yourself further behind. Why would you even risk to try and do that? It never will make any sense to me, to be completely honest. I've always been one to play it safe. Even in Madden, if I'm in field goal range on 4th down, I kick it every time. Unless, like, I have to go for it on 4th, or I'm down by 7 late in the game, you know, that's one thing. But especially early in the game, take the points. Mahomes definitely had some pretty bad mistakes in the game. Like, he was great, but his mistakes were costly. And he's not a guy that makes mistakes often. So it was kind of shocking to see. Hamilton chafing. Just trying to ride it out. Catching a bigger pack of trucks. We'll see how many positions that'll be worth. They'll definitely get inside the top 10. They can make their way through it. Lester has caught the back of the field right now. Back of lap traffic. Will we get a caution? Right front's starting to wear out a little bit more on Hamilton's race truck. I don't really know if the truck feels better or worse since the pit stop, only because they did make an air pressure adjustment. It honestly doesn't feel any different. Oh, it is Daytona. Even though it's bumpy Daytona. Adjustments matter maybe a little bit more, but in the grand scheme of things, the restrictor plate slows the trucks down, the vehicles down at this track enough that maybe doesn't make as much of a difference as what it would on other tracks. So a pound of air pressure really didn't seem to do anything for Hamilton, for better or for worse. $14 laps to go for Bill Lester. Chafin and Hamilton in the tri-oval. Again, are catching the trucks out in front. It's like 4 trucks up for grabs here. Brandon Witt, one of them. Witt just trying to get to the end. Carl Edwards blew an engine while leading about 15 to 20 laps ago, so he will not finish second in points as long as Witt could just make it to the end of the race. Hamilton tried to go low, but Chafin went down and blocked him. Ace Johnson, the pole sitter, running in that 10th position. The outside lane right now, Chafin closing in. Down into the tri-oval. Chafin throwing a block. Oh, man, he gets sideways. Contact with Johnson. He kind of moved up even before Hamilton bump drafted him, and that's why he got so loose. He was loose even before Hamilton got into him. Hamilton got into him simply because Chafin got loose. Johnson got the worst end of it. Hamilton lifting down the back straightaway. He's going to let Chafin get in front of him, so he can draft behind him and try to catch this pack again. Hopefully he didn't lift too much. Try to get the momentum back. Oh man, I think Hamilton lifted too much. That's going to be costly. It's tough to tell if he's actually closing in on the 18 or not. I don't know if he is. Wow, Hamilton lifted too much, letting Chafin go. So Chafin's mistake turns out to be more costly for the 2 trucks around him than for Chafin himself. $12 to go at the line. $11 to go, rather, at the line. Hamilton lifting. Into turns 1 and 2. He's going to try not to lift too much. Oh, contact! Johnson did not clear him. Oh my goodness. That's another spot lost. And he's not going to be able to cling onto the draft now with Ace Johnson either. That is unbelievable. Back to 12th. I mean, he's giving up these positions on purpose, but he's giving up way too much time doing it. And now he's just basically got to hold on for every position he could get at this point. 10 laps to go. Because if we get a caution, we're not going to have many laps left. It will be a single file restart. All the lap trucks will be behind the lead lap trucks. Skip forward in life to NASCAR racing. I'm all for it. Said Hamilton's done giving up positions, but he's going to lift to let Troy Perry get a run on him to the outside. 9 to go. Well, at least he didn't lift too much to let Perry go too far in front of him. Well, that's bot number 6 or 7 now. Down in the chat. New stream record. Not a good one. It's just unbelievable. We just never got a caution. Up to this point at least. 8 laps to go. A guaranteed green, white, checkered restart if we did get one before the final lap, of course. Hamilton trying to intimidate Troy Perry. I don't know how well the intimidation button works at Daytona. He's desperately trying to bring out a caution now. He doesn't want to physically wreck him, but if he can intimidate him and wreck him that way, it may be worth it. Though he's getting up out of the groove. That didn't do anything for Bobby Hamilton other than just flat out knock the 116 truck out of the way. A little more contact. Not done yet. Hamilton's purposely leaning on Perry now. Still leaning on him. And he's back to 12th. There's 7 to go. Hamilton's not giving up another spot the rest of this race now. I mean, he's got to get it back and hope for a caution. Because they are not going to catch anybody else for position in front of him anyway. So we'll take what he can get. Exactly my thoughts on sports. Joshua, I love sports. I'll watch almost anything. But NASCAR is just that's my passion. NASCAR is a passion. The rest of these sports, I'm not quite as passionate about. Like, I can watch a NASCAR race without a rooting interest. It's hard for me to watch other sports without a rooting interest, to be completely honest. Football is maybe the only outlier, but even then, I mean, I haven't watched much of the playoffs. I can tell you I haven't watched a full game from start to finish in the playoffs since Green Bay lost last weekend. My heart's not in it. No, it's NASCAR season now that Green Bay's done. For myself, at least. We got the Clash next weekend. Edwin Justice, welcome to the stream. Remember winning that Daytona with the trucks. It's real hard. They weren't quite even. Yeah, this has definitely been a rough go. Gonna be 0 for 3 in the truck series at Daytona. Assuming we don't get a late yellow and Hamilton comes back to win this. But still, what a season. 14. And we'll figure out the full season statistics for Hamilton once the checkered flag flies tonight. But 14 wins. Only 2 finishes outside the top 10. It might be 3 after this one. And both of them are going to be at Daytona. 2 of the 3 will be at Daytona. The restrictor plate, just the Achilles heel for myself on this game. I finally broke the curse with the win at Daytona in the Busch Series season opener. But the other series, I still got to get a win in either Daytona or Talladega in this game because I haven't done it yet. Still haven't won at Dega yet. Like the 14th place race truck is now caught up to both 12th and 13th of Hamilton and Perry. Well, even if Hamilton and Edwards are still racing for the championship tonight, considering Edwards blew an engine right around lap 60, give or take, on exactly what lap it was, Hamilton would have ended up, in hindsight, winning the championship anyway. Even if he didn't clinch it last night. Obviously, hindsight's 2020. You know, maybe things could have changed, but Edwards was dominating when he was out in front. Nobody got around him. He led for a long time and blew an engine while leading. It's a heartbreak for Edwards as he was trying to go for his 4th win of the season. But Bill Lester has been the other dominant truck tonight and is probably going to go on to lead the most considering when Edwards did actually DNF. And Lester's just 2 laps away from victory at Daytona. The track he dominated at to start the season. There's another driver blowing an engine. That's Scott Bush in the 56. He was a lap down already, so that wasn't for position. It's Doug Thompson, the 124 truck, by the way, who just made a pass on Troy Perry off of turn 4. Hamilton gets... Or sorry, if Lester gets to the white flag... No cautions come out in the final lap in this game, but if we get 1 yellow, we'll have a green-white checker restart. That is the 2nd time that bot has been in the chat tonight. I thought somebody booted it. Is that like the 7th or 8th bot now? I don't know what's going on. Oh boy, contact. Hamilton and Thompson. Hamilton a little loose. Oh man, into the wall. The white flag's already out. Troy Perry's going to race on. He's going to get by that mess. It's going to be a caution-free race at Daytona, and it'll be our 5th caution-free race of the season. Hamilton's going to finish nearly 30 seconds off the lead. Lester, even with lap traffic, not going to cost him as he works his way off of turn 4 for the final time, as he'll win his 2nd race of the year to round out the 2004 custom schedule season. Bill Lester is a winner at Daytona. Hamilton just trying to hold on for every position he can right now to contact that last lap. But Thompson cost him a potential spot with Troy Perry. Barry Wilder in the 108 truck now trying to work around Thompson in 3 and 4 as Hamilton has to block both lanes. And, oh, Thompson brushes the wall off turn 4 for the 2nd straight lap. Hamilton will hang on to 13th place finish. His 3rd worst of the year, only his 3rd finish outside the top 10 all season. But he is the champion, and he will get to celebrate in style tonight. Can't do a victory burnout, so it's a good thing I did 2 of them in 1 yesterday. Just in case I didn't win tonight. And, well, we didn't win tonight. So no burnout, but we will get to see the victory celebration. Error. Try again. Try to report the bot again. I'm reporting all of them. Well, we did finish 30 seconds off the lead. 30.4 seconds off the race lead. An hour and 20 minutes to get tonight's race at Daytona. Finished. Bill Lester's going to go on to win. We'll check the race statistics. 67 laps led for Lester today, a max points day. I don't think he could have caught Carl Edwards for second. I think he was a little too far back. Brandon Witt finished fifth, so he definitely didn't catch him, I don't believe. So we'll check it out just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that Lester will still finish fourth in the standings. Travis Quaffle, winless season, but he came so close even again at Daytona. Runner-up, second place finish. Larry Watson finishes third. Matt Crafton fourth, and Brandon Witt does round out the top five. Ryan Carter sixth, Jack Sprague seventh, Casey Cook in eighth, Jason Powell ninth, and Chad Chafin rounds out the top 10. Hamilton led 2 laps in today's race. Perry actually led 1 in the middle of green flag stops as well. So the total laps led for Bobby Hamilton this season, as I was keeping track, was 1,712 laps led for Bobby Hamilton this season. That's impressive for a Truck Series season. 14 wins in the 23 races as well. And now I got to get the average finish, so let me get the calculator out. Let's see, calculator. I don't know why I put Bobby Hamilton as the winner at Daytona. Bill Lester. Alright, Bill Lester's the winner at Daytona. See, average finish. Finished 13th today. That would be 76. A 3.3 average finish. 3.3 average finish this season. Lester came into the day with a 2.8 average finish, but a 13th place finish knocked it up over 3. So not so strong of an exit to the season, but he still wins the championship nonetheless, finishing 13th today. And caution-free at Daytona. Who would have thought that was going to happen? I know it was only 100 laps, and it was only 250 miles. I doubt the 500 will do that next week, but I guess you never know. Won 61% of the races this season. Yeah, we dominated for sure. It's only going to get harder the more series we go up into, especially the Cup Series. There's many fantasy tracks that are going to be on there we're going to for the first time. Bunch of fantasy road courses. That's going to be very difficult. The Biff wasn't a great road course racer. Though there's no like, we can race as any driver. We're not going to have as bad of an issue. I think 06 starts to do driver ratings. So depending on who you guys vote for me to race as for those seasons, it's maybe going to be, hit or miss at track-specific racetracks. Hey, look at that. I got a couple more. I'm trying to unlock all these chase plates. As much of them as possible. Almost got all the race pole ones out. I got... See, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm pretty sure this is the profile without the career mode too, so I'm almost there. I'll probably do the Cup Series season on this one. I think I can maybe unlock everything. Because the races are going to be longer, so the chances of more skill points in every race is going to be there. Yeah, I'm almost there. Check out who got the most pole awards this season. We'll check out the full season points standings, and then we'll work our way out of here tonight. Full season standings, 198-point victory for Bobby Hamilton. Brandon Witt finishes second in points again after the Carl Edwards DNF today. Edwards will fall back to third. Travis Quaffle actually finished fourth in points, finishing second, even though Bill Lester had the max points day and got the win. Casey Cook finishes sixth, well behind there. Matt Crafton finishes seventh. Cook, by the way, the highest running generated rookie driver, so he will win the Rookie of the Year in the Truck Series with that 6th place finish. And he did have a win in the season opener at Daytona as well, so good for him. Ryan Carter finishes 8th, Jack Sprague 9th, former champ there, and Doug Thompson rounds out the top 10 in the point standings for this Truck Series season. Our teammate Chad Chafin finished all the way back at 15th, considering that he did not win a race, finished 15th in points versus we won 14 races and won the championship. That's a little disappointing for Chad Chafin this season. He did beat Bobby Hamilton in that last race, though. He finished 10th, and he did have some chances to win throughout the course of the year, ultimately. Bobby Hamilton also had the most poles this season than any other driver with 6 pole awards of the 23 races. Carl Edwards, 4th. Carl Edwards, 2nd with 4 poles. Bill Lester had 3. Brandon Witt, Benny Allen, Aaron McGee had 2. Ace Johnson, Wesley Schmidt, Robbie Young, and Larry Watson had 1. So 10 different drivers won poles in the 23 races, and only 5 different drivers went to victory lane this season. Again, 14 for Hamilton, 1 for Casey Cook, 3 for Carl Edwards, 3 for Brandon Witt, and 2 for Bill Lester were the 5 drivers that went into victory lane this season. So that is all the season statistics this year. And we also won a record in the Truck Series, 6 races in a row. All towards the end of the season there, stretching from race 17 at Bristol to race 22 at Homestead. So those are all my season statistics, as well as some of the other driver statistics in particular categories. That is going to wrap it up here tonight on the channel, and that's going to wrap up this entire custom schedule Truck Series season. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I'll see you on this game at the same start time as tonight, tomorrow night, again at Daytona. But it will be the Cup Series, and it will be on the Daytona road course on this game. I can't remember how many laps that is. I know it's going to be a longer race, so that's why we're starting at 6 again. Let's see here. 142 laps. So 142 laps on the Daytona road course. Yeah, that's gonna be a long one. Just to put in perspective, today's Daytona road course race was 70 laps on NASCAR 21 Ignition. Tomorrow it's gonna be 142. You want to talk about the Rolex 24? We're gonna have an endurance race of our own tomorrow, right here on the channel. Can't wait for it. Can't wait to see you guys there. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time.